Be successful in life. Of course, everyone wants to be successful. But there's something more important than being successful, and that's being valuable. You know, there's something called the MVP, most valuable player. It's not called the most successful player, because the idea is that you're a team, and when you're a help to your teammates, you become the most valuable player to your teammates. They say the word team is an acronym for together everyone achieves more. TEAM. And the idea is that life, we're all team players, and we have to not only look out for our personal success, but how valuable are we to others? As a matter of fact, something amazing happened about 10 years ago. The two richest people in America, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, started something called the Giving Pledge. And what's the Giving Pledge? They asked people who are billionaires to sign a pledge that during their lifetime, they'll give away at least half of their fortune to charity, to help others. And there's a website, you could go check it out, called The Giving Pledge, with over 200 people, including people who live here in Palm Beach that you know, who have signed a pledge that they will give more than half of their wealth away to charity during their lifetime. That's our goal in life. Now that you've been successful, what are you going to do with that success? Now you have to become valuable. That's more important. And this week's Parsha talks about the horrific things that will occur throughout Jewish history. But the closing verse says, V'av gamzos, no matter what happens, I will always remember, V'zacharti et briti Yaakov, I'll remember my covenant with Jacob. V'av et briti Yitzchak, I'll also remember my covenant with Isaac. V'av et briti Abraham Eskor, and I'll remember my covenant with Abraham. And finally the verse says, V'ha'aretz Eskor, and I'll remember the land of Israel. So Rashi explains, why does it go in the reverse order? It should have started with Abraham, Isaac, and then Jacob. Why does it go Jacob, Isaac, and Abraham? And then why does it say at the end, I'll remember the land of Israel? What does the land of Israel have to do with it? And Rashi says the following, that just remembering Jacob, the most recent patriarch, that's enough to save the Jews from the worst calamities. But if that doesn't suffice, I'll go back to Isaac. And if that doesn't work, I'll go back to Abraham. And if that doesn't work, I'll go back to the land of Israel. But what does that mean? We know that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are the three pillars upon which the world stands. Abraham is kindness, Isaac is divine service, prayer, and Jacob represents Torah study. So what God is saying is, in the merit of Torah study, I will save the Jews. But if that doesn't suffice, I'll remember the prayers of the Jews. If that doesn't suffice, I'll remember the kindness of the Jewish people. And if that doesn't add up to enough merit, I'll remember their love for the land of Israel. And here we find something interesting. It's this, the smallest amount of Jews who are those who study Torah. Just factually. There's a bigger population of Jews that pray, that go to shul whenever they go on Shabbos or holidays. So first I remember those who study Torah. If that doesn't suffice, I remember a bigger pool of Jews who pray. But then the largest pool of Jews are those who do kindness. Every Jew is a charitable. But if that doesn't suffice, I'll remember the love of the land of Israel. More than anything else, Jews love the land of Israel. I'll tell you what the proof is. What's the biggest annual gathering of Jews in America every year? 18,000 Jews. AIPAC. What are they meeting about? Israel. 18,000 Jews don't get together to study Torah in America every year. 18,000 Jews don't get together to pray in one place. But to talk about Israel, support Israel, they do. And I want to tell you something. We read about the horrific things that happen that's predicted in this week's Parsha. Last week there was a fire in a town in Israel called Mevo Modi'in. It was the town founded by Rabbi Shlomo Kalbach. And he was a man who loved Torah study, he loved prayer. Many of the songs we sing in our prayers are his songs, Lima, Anachai, Verei, and hundreds others. And he was a man of great charity. He died a poor man because he was always giving out charity. And he loved the land of Israel, and he started a village in Israel in the 70s called Mevo Modi'in. There were terrible fires throughout Israel, and this village has 45 homes. 40 of the homes were burnt down completely to a crisp. The miracle is that his personal home was burnt, but all of his books were not touched somehow. And a woman who used to live in our community, who lives in Israel now with 3 kids, and she's divorced, she's part of a group of women who are divorced women who support each other like a support group. And she personally knows 2 families, 2 single mothers, divorced women. One has 2 kids, one has 4 kids, that live in Modi'in that are literally homeless. And you can see the photographs. There's nothing left. And so she started a GoFundMe page to help raise money for these particular 2 families. And when you look at the pictures, you can see what calamity looks like. But the following verse says, you know what God remembers? Our love for each other, our kindness for each other, and our love for the land of Israel. You know, yesterday was announced there would be new elections in Israel. We can't do anything about the elections in Israel. But we could help rebuild homes and families and lives and villages in Israel. That's what we can do today. And show that despite the worst things that occur, we're there to support each other and to help each other and to rebuild Eretz Yisrael and show our love for the land of Israel. God says that's the merit of the Jewish people that I always remember. And so under this video today, I'm going to put a link to this GoFundMe page. And everyone who's watching this should do something. Everyone could do something. I was once in New York. There was a beggar there on the street. And he was calling out. He said, give me some help, give me something. He says, you don't have to be Rockefeller to help a fella. You know, everyone could do something. The beauty of the Jewish people is that everyone does a little bit. We could help rebuild not just homes, but not just houses, but homes and families and lives. And this is the way we could live this week's parasha. When we see misfortune, we remember our covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob with the land of Israel, and our love for each other, and we support one another. It's a famous story told about this son who was sitting with his father at the dinner table. And his father goes, has a massive heart attack and collapses and falls to the ground. The kid panics. He runs to the phone. He dials 911. Within moments, there's sirens blaring. Paramedics run up to the house. They see the father passed out on the floor. They jump to the ground, and they immediately start taking his pulse. And the little kid's crying. He's frightened. He sees his father laying there passed out, and he starts screaming at the medics, no, no, doctors. It's not his hand. It's his heart. And the paramedics look up at the boy and they say, we know, sonny boy, but from the hand, you can tell what's doing in the heart. From the Jewish hand, you can tell what's doing in the Jewish heart. So give something, do what you can, help out Jewish families, and share this with other people. Just by sharing it with others, you'll enable others to give tzedakah. And if everyone does their part, we could see these homes beautifully restored and these families happily, once again, intact in their own homes.